today and resubmit a docking request.
Good morning, everyone. It's good to see you all again. Yep, so last Friday's stream was a little bit interrupted by the fact that I updated the firmware on my Gladiators, and the product ID for one of them changed to something different in the middle of it all. And as a result, I couldn't find the keybones. Well, my keybones couldn't find the devices they were hooked up to and refused to work. And obviously, that just needed to be fixed. Fun fact, I spent yonks and yonks and yonks changing my repairing and replacing my keybones, and then at the end of it all I went, wait a minute, I could have just gone into my keybone file and done a search and replace on the old product ID and changed it over to the new one, and saved myself many hours of mucking about and getting things right. So yeah, so next time this happens, if it happens, I'll know what to do right away. And as you can see, I'm in my Panther Clipper today. Well, at the moment, I'm in my Panther Clipper. That's because last night I was jumping through the Elite Dangerous pages on Facebook, and there was a cry for help. Somebody was building their own Coriolis starport as a first-time effort, and you can tell it's a first-time effort because it's covered in noob hammers. And they basically said, help, I'm about to go on holiday, and when I get back from holiday, the construction window will have passed. And obviously I need some help to get all of this put together. So a bunch of us on Facebook went, yep, okay, we're bringing our heavy haulers, and it'll be done in a jiffy. And in the space of about an hour and a little bit over an hour, an extra 25% was dumped onto the station. I jumped about 5 or 6 loads myself, and then I had to go to bed because it was really early in the morning. And then I woke up this morning, and instead of being on a Brewer Corporation colonization ship, I'm actually inside a station that's undergoing deployment, and we'll be ready on this Thursday's server tick. So yeah, there is that. Yay us. Okie dokie, so bear with me a moment. I'm just going to quickly take care of just a few more things. Okay, so continue, and we're going back to the carrier, so it's open play. We'll be jumping in the Type 8, and then we'll be continuing our rampage across the galaxy. Okay, just doing some final adjustments here. Okay. Okie dokie, there's that. And now finally, bring up my spreadsheet of everything for all of this. And where did it go? There it is. Right. Excellent. Okay, so our current count for the rare items, the same as it was last Friday before I had to everything's short. So it's 76 rare items collected, 4 yet to be found and discovered. They're probably in Narnia or chilling at Raxler, and 62 left to go. Okay, so fleet carrier time first. And the current community goal is still going on very, very nicely. One of my application programs is saying it's going to be done sometime around June 13, which is 2 days after my birthday. Okay, let's go. Oh, hang on, how many jumps have we got to go there? 7 jumps. Oh, easy, easy, easy. And just looking at the menu today, looks like we're going to be having a fair few systems where we're going to be spending a lot of time in Super Cruise.
Ship is released. Take care when leaving the station.
Okay, so settled in. We're just going to be doing some quick jumps and quick cargo runs and so forth, and then we'll be well, obviously we're not going to get everything done today, but it looks like we might get it done this week. And obviously, once that's all taken care of, we'll find something else to do. Yep, so a little bit about me. I actually, when I'm not playing Elite Dangerous or faffing around with golden retrievers and golden retriever puppies, my day job, well, evening job and night shift job, is working as an internet banking fraud analyst. I work with a fairly major Australian bank, and yeah, as it turns out, we have the only 24/7 call centre available for our customers to call. So everyone else, they seems to think that internet banking fraud only happens during, say, business hours or extended hours and so forth, and they don't realise that it can also happen at, oh my god, what time is it in the morning? And that's where we step in. And was doing some thinking about it, and I realised that internet banking scammers and internet banking fraud analysts, we basically have the same sort of thing down pat. We're going to call you up at strange hours, and we're going to try and convince you to do things that you're not really prepared to do right away. The main difference is, obviously, we want you to calm down and start using your mind brain properly and so forth, and stop running on panic and fear through an amygdala hijack. So one of my first things when I give you a call is I'm just going to say, hey, you don't have to answer my call, you don't have to continue with the call, but please do consider actually paying attention, because what I'm saying is fairly important. But if you don't trust me, and if I'm calling you up at 3 in the morning, why would you? If you don't trust me, then don't hesitate to hang up the phone and give the bank a call, and our number is on our website and on the back of your card. So I throw the control of the conversation across to my customer and so forth with every opportunity. And, my camera keeps blinking out. My everything keeps blinking out. What the devil is... Okay, this is interesting. Behave. You. Stream decks, behave. Monitors, behave. PC, behave. It's just a wee bit too loud in my cans here. That's better. Okay. So yeah, so just a couple of points and so forth. You know, if somebody purportedly from your bank is calling you up and saying that things have gone wrong and so forth, and you're being hacked and you need to do something about it immediately, well, first off, when in doubt, hang up. Always the safest course of action. Hang up and go to your local branch. Or give your bank a call on the number that's printed on the back of your card or on their website. Assuming they're open, it's 3 in the morning. And, call them direct. Don't interact with the person that's on the phone and so forth unless they've made it crystal clear that they're not going to ask you to make any transactions, not going to ask you to make any changes. They're just going to confirm stuff that's already happened. And they probably, if they're like me, they'll say, you can hang up at any time. And, if I'm phoning you up and saying that your account's got somebody rustling around inside it and trying to empty out your bank account, well, one of the first things I would have done is I would have put a transaction block on every account I could lay my hands on. It takes me somewhere between 2 and 5 seconds to block an account, and I can do those pretty much bang, 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 bang. So I'll block off the highest value ones first, and then everything else gets blocked as well. And I'll also have locked up your internet banking profile and kicked everyone out in the first place. So that gives me just extra time to lock your accounts down and give you a call. So if anybody's phoning up and saying that you need to move money to another account, feel free to tell them to F off and hang up. If you've got an air horn, blow that into the phone as well. So and if you're polite about it, you can tell the person that's phoning you up and trying to scam you for all you're worth. Just say, thank you for informing me. Place a block on all of my accounts. I'll be in my local branch as soon as possible. And as for other online scams and so forth, well, there's WhatsApp, there's Facebook Marketplace, there's the advertisements on Facebook that don't go against their alleged community standards. And I know I've reported a fair few ads that have been dodgy as all hell, and I've been told repeatedly that these rather dodgy ads don't violate their community standards and to please stop being a busybody. Never mind the fact that, these ads are impersonating, purportedly saying that they're getting endorsements from people like Anthony Albanese and and Robert Irwin and so forth, and Gina bloody Reinhardt, and that they are spruiking a way of getting instant and easy money. But given the way that Meta operates a couple of days, maybe they just see regular and easy cash as being far more agreeable than actually, providing a decent crap-free service. Okay, so yep. And as I said, our team, we operate 24/7, so obviously that means it's going to need people that will be working rather insane hours, like, for example, 11 o'clock at night, all the way through to 7:30 in the morning. So, the joys of shift work. You're finishing up work when everyone else is about to start trudging off into the morning horror of rush hour traffic. Okay, this is getting beyond belief. So just going to be clearing up. So just getting some stuff out of the way, because my RAM usage is oscillating violently between 40 and 85% full, and considering I'm running around with a 64 gigs of RAM at the moment, that's not what it should be doing. Oh, I know what it's doing. I know what it is. Let's just get rid of that. Let's just kill Chrome in the background. We don't need you. And here we go. Oh yeah, I'm allowed to use Super Cruise here because I'm not in my Type 8. Ugh. Looking forward to the new operations thing, just seeing how that turns out. And obviously, well, yeah, I know my fuel reserves are at 25%. Okay, looks like you're not going to be getting a special guest appearance with the fuel rats. Because, well, that would be interesting. And let's just see. Okay, so it handled it well. It handled it well. We got there. Yep, absolutely nothing on board. So there's no reason for any pirate to interdict me. Doesn't mean they won't, just means they don't have any reason to. So where was I? Oh yes, the joys of shift work. So as I said, you're finishing up work when everyone else is struggling through rush hour traffic, and working from home like I do, my rush hour traffic is just stepping over a couple of randomly placed golden retrievers that insist on being underfoot everywhere. And of course, once you've fully adjusted to the night shift cycle and so forth, while drinking before noon, that's just after work drinks, isn't it? It's not a sign of impending alcoholism, especially if you have more than one or two. It's just you've had a rough day. Okay, where is my... Okay, looks like it's actually there in front of the planet, so getting ready for a quick duck and weave as needed. No, it'd be all dotty and stuff like that, and so I'm also definitely in front of the planet. And yes, I'm rambling. There's my purple carrier. And if I...
Hello, Commander. Please stay aware of other ships around
If I tallied up the amount of arcs I've spent on various things in this game, I'd probably be rather disappointed in myself.
5-kilometer range for docking requests.
Oh yes, that thing.
Access granted. Please follow standard docking protocols, Commander. Docking request confirmed. Assisted approach is go.
Okay, bear with me, I'm just trying to... Where is my... manage this? There we go. Right. And okay, why am I hearing an echo in here? Ah, because it's... There we go. Okay, so carrier services, and my RAM is oscillating violently again.
Welcome to our carrier, Commander.
Okay, let's... While I'm here, I'm just going to do some quick look and have a look at the usual suspects. Windows Update, what the hell are you doing? Absolutely nothing. I really should have this program on a shortcut or something like that. Empty the standby list. Okay, will that make things just that little bit better? Okay, so as I said, it's now time to start the recollection of rare items. So use that ship and collect all the rare items I've bought so far. Okay, filters first. And now oh, for the love of Pete. There we go. Okay, so that's 76 items on board. And now we're off to the Tanmark system to pick up Lucan Onion Head. And obviously, yep, for those that are just joining us, the rules of this thing is I've got to get every rare item in the game in strict alphabetical order. I've got to do that in open. Got to do it without using Super Cruise Overcharge. And not allowed to buy fuel either. I'm going to have to subsist on what my fuel scoop can get me on the way. Okay, and there we go. Oops. Oh, yeah, why not? Let's sell off my stuff. Probably not a lot there, but hey, it's not much. That ain't nothing. And I'm auto-launching because, holy crap, I can't be bothered manually docking all the time. It's fun in a small ship and so forth, but in medium and larger ships, it's... except for the Mandalay. But most of the medium ships are less manoeuvrable than I like. I do like just being able to hoon around in a small ship. The Kestrel's fun. And obviously, something like the Type 9, the Panther Clipper, they steer like drunken narcoleptic cows.
You have now departed the no-fire zone. Best of luck, Commander.
So 5 jumps to go, and obviously many more after that. So yep, as I said before, current count of rare items collected is 74, 4 are missing in action, probably chilling in Raxler, and 62 left to go. Oi, 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 that's a big bright star. I feel like I should be wearing sunglasses. And have to admit, with the shirt I'm wearing at the moment, sunglasses would probably be a reasonably good fit. Let's have a look. Oh yeah. Cartel claws. Oh, what the... Oy. No. Yikes. Okay, so the exclusion zone on a, was that a white dwarf or a who cares? They just appear very, very large, very, very hard to dodge if you're at full speed, and especially in something that steers like an unsteady wombat. Nice. So as I was saying before, the joys of shift work, drinking before midday is not a sign of impending alcoholism, it's just after work drinks. And but it's sometimes pretty bloody lonely as well, because you're completely out of phase with everyone around you, and sometimes, especially when you're living in a family as loud as mine, it can be really hard trying to get to sleep during the day, or more importantly, trying to stay asleep during the day, because there's packages that get dropped off all the flippin' time. And there's emotionally insecure golden retrievers busting into your bedroom at all hours. And it's just harder to get a decent restful sleep than would otherwise be the case. So there is that. The penalty rates are nice, but sometimes, just the incidental effects of it all are a little bit hard to bear. There we go, 10 mark already, and we're going to Cassie LP. I've been here before, I do not know. We'll soon find out. And this marks about this time. Let's see, what was the 84 something? Oh my goodness, 42 years of playing this game. Well, this game and Frontier and the original Elite. That was a lot of fun back in the day. And if if I'd known just how much fun I would have had in these games and so forth, I would have probably paid more attention initially. Just the first time playing Elite Dangerous was, let's see, oh, it's only 14 like seconds away. That one's not so bad at all. Yeah, so the first time I played Elite and so forth, it was on, let me first see if I can remember this right, it was an Apple II, it was an Apple II Euro Plus, with 2 floppy drives and 64 kilobytes of memory, because it had the 16 kilobyte language card expansion added into it. So so that was, for the time, pretty top of the line. It was also at Collingwood Public Library, and you could, you had to basically book blocks of time in 15 to 30 minute time blocks, and share the PC or the computer with lots and lots of other equally poor and destitute nerds as you. And it was good times, but just thinking about what they had to work with back then and what they managed to make it do. Oh, yeah, so I've got text documents that are larger than 64K. So, good luck trying to get all of that into memory. Okay, so I'm not sure why my system keeps clicking out and so forth, and why my audio keeps dropping like it does. Oh, yes, that's right. I'm probably carrying some measure of illegal cargo now, so time to be all sneaky on this, and try not to get myself scanned.
Cleared for access. Please set course for docking bay 07.
And first sign of scan, I'm boosting through that mail slot. Come on. Okay, let autopilot take it from here.
Initiating auto-docking protocols. Landing gear deployed.
And let's find out what this Luke and Onion Head is all about. Strangely enough, I've not done a lot of rares trading and so forth, except for Soontil relics, because they're reasonably close to a power play area that I like to beat with a stick from time to time. Oh dear, enough. Okay, so picking up just one of these. genetically altered strain of the onion flower, chemically changed to seven federal laws. Stop it. Okay, so here we go. And that's a big yes on that. Now we come back for the Tanmark Tranquility later. So now we're coming up to 61 Lyrae. You're next. And just wondering, has anybody else out there done something pointlessly silly as all of this for the sheer sake of, well, it being there and you needing to get it out of your head? I know I'm not the only one to have done this, because it is actually mentioned as being something that was done by another commander in the Hutton Orbital Truckers. So I know I'm not the only one to embark on this harebrained scheme. I can't be bothered waiting. So, and strange thing about, well, not really strange, but not going to lie, my first copy of Elite Dangerous was well and truly pirated. Several reasons were behind that. One, pirated games are generally faster to make it to Australia than legitimate copies, and obviously when you're sort of like a broke teenager from the inner suburbs of Melbourne and so forth, well, we didn't really see it so much as pirating as just, copying. And, and that's pretty much how it went. We didn't, back in the early 80s, which teenager knew had any sort of working knowledge of the intricacies of copyright law and intellectual property law? I certainly didn't. And, so, well, like I said, it was, pirated games were raving faster than they did in their retail version, and the retail prices sucked even back then. Because the Australia tax was and is still very much a thing, especially for physically delivered goods and so forth, because you are on the butt end of nowhere. At least from a logistics point of view, you're kind of like a geographically dispersed market. And that geographically dispersed market's got a population less than Canada. So, yeah. Canada can just piggyback on the back end of the US market, for, at least as far as logistics and so forth is concerned, because, they're next to a market of 350 to 400 million people. So, they can help spread the load. But, when your market, as it was back then, it was like 20 million people or something like that, 15 to 20 million people, and you're sharing market space with penguins and fish. You didn't really have a lot to help balance things out. So, anything that came in from overseas got a hefty import charge, and so not an import duty, but just import costs, travel, transportation and distribution costs that you just couldn't get past. And my first joystick, again for the Apple II, and it was professionally manufactured. I actually bought it from a bricks and mortar store. Oh, but my goodness, it was some flimsy. It was just too wildly inaccurate, well, mostly inaccurate analog sticks with a lot of drift in them, even in the middle of a game. And yeah, it's just, what was it, 2 sticks, 2 buttons, and some little dials to help recenter your joysticks between and during use. It was not great. And the joystick itself, what was it? It was sheet metal. I think it was sheet steel, bent and studded and welded. Lots of sharp edges and so forth. And you can swing it around your head by the cord and so forth, and knock somebody's block off. It was it was one step away from a weapon. Okay, so, right, actually in my destination. Okay, yep, so, bit of a flight for this one, but not too much. So yeah, there was so 84 Elite, and then 1992 or thereabouts. Frontier Elite 2 came out, and I got that one. Actually, bought that one. Bought that legit, and from a game in Swanston Street in Melbourne called Mind Games. And, you know, it just completely popped up on the shelves without warning and so forth. And I'm there and I'm going, oh, what's this? Ooh, Elite 2. And absolutely sprained my hand getting my wallet out and so forth to pay for that one as quick as I could. And played that on... First started playing that on my Amiga 600, which was, you know, well, a long time ago. That was the first PC home computer I ever had. And it started off fairly bare bones, but kitted it up as I could when I could. So when I first got it, it was just a floppy drive only. It was just one of them. And it had just the one, let's see. Oh God, it just had the 1 meg of chip RAM. And no hard drive, so it was fairly bare bones, but it was enough to keep me mildly entertained for a good long while. And then after that, I started expanding to it. So one of the first things I got for it was a RAM expansion to take me up to 2 megabytes of chip RAM. So living the dream there. And for those that are wondering, you know, RAM on the Amiga series of computers were generally split into 2 halves, well, two types, 2 pools. Chip RAM was used by the CPU and by the co-processors, so your graphics and your sound and so forth. And fast RAM was used just by the CPU itself, and obviously was faster to access. And so, yeah, I upgraded with a chip RAM expansion with a battery backed up real-time clock. So, you know, living the dreams there. And then it was the hard drive. And this was a little 2.5-inch IDE notebook hard drive. And let's see, I bought it secondhand. It was 40 megabytes. And let's see if I can remember. And it would cost brand new. It would have been prohibitively expensive, but because I bought it second hand, it was all of around about $250 back then, so yikes. Yeah, so again, niche market. Whoa.
Permission authorized. Cleared for landing on docking bay 05.
Nearly got myself a loitering fine there, so. And let the auto take the roll from there. So yeah, then it was the hard drive upgrade, and then after that it was the hard drive replacement because the first one fell over and died. So I swapped out my 20 megabyte hard drive for a 40 megabyte hard drive, and then went back to rebuilding things. Oh, hang on, there was also a Kickstart chip upgrade in there as well, so I could actually use the hard drive. So yeah, good times there. Did not actually get an extra floppy drive with it, but then I had the hard drive. I didn't need it. Okay, what am I buying here? I'm buying lyre weed. What the devil is this stuff? That's a legal drug. Yep, so more and more of my cargo is being wildly illegal in one or more jurisdictions. So yeah, there's that. And so that's 78 rare items collected, 4 unaccounted for, 60 left to go. And the next stop we're going to is the Viracocha system. Copy that. Okay. And auto launch, because I'm lazy.
Detach confirmed. You are clear to leave.
Yeah, then why does my audio for my game keep falling off? So as I was saying, Frontier had some interesting bugs in it. The best one was the fact that all the distances between point A and point B were held in an unsigned 16-bit register.
Safe travels, Commander.
And so if your destination and so forth was more than 65.535 light years away from your starting point, the distance counter would actually reset. And so it would reset and count from 0 again. So, if you had the patience, it was actually possible to work things so you could jump pretty much across the entire galaxy in one jump. So that was interesting. And it did have a feature in that game which you don't have in the current version, and that was being able to fuel scoop from gas giants. So, in Frontier you could fuel scoop from stars and from gas giants, and you'd never run out of fuel.
Frameshift drive charging.
So that was, yeah, obviously the joystick I had back then was a, for want of a better word, a digital input, so it was, all on or all off. So steering in that thing with, in Elite Dangerous with an analog joystick, a digital joystick was enthusiastic, I think is, or nippy and responsive. So it was just, for finer grain control, it was just easier, quicker and easier and more accurate all around to just use mouse and keyboard. And of course now I am spoiled for choice. I'm running dual VKB Gladiators, living that life up large as possible, and got this thing mapped down pretty much the way I want them and need them. Haven't made any major changes and so forth in quite a while, so everything I need to do, I can do with my hands on both sticks and not actually remove them for anything. And that was a quick little run. That was only 157 light years, that's why.
Frameshift drive charging.
And the station's only 502 light seconds from the jump-in point, so nice and easy mode there. Okay, settling in for the quick little jaunt. Okay, what do you earn? Oh, it's a Python, but System Authority Versal. I'm not too worried about that. Oh, I just realised I'm going to have to avoid interdictions from everyone. And I've got to stop myself from getting distracted because it's first loop of shame of the day. But I just can't get over how things have progressed since the good old days. Well, actually, they weren't the good old days. We did the best we could with what we had. And what David Braben and Ian Bell did with just 64 kilobytes of system memory and so forth was absolutely phenomenal. So what they did was mind-mangling, but also mind-manglingly simple and elegant. And they laid the pathstones for what would be a fairly comprehensive genre of games. So Elite is the OG of the space trading flight sim games. Everybody's standing on the foundation that they built. And Frontier have gone and extended things Well, Frontier developments have gone and extended things in ways that I would never have imagined.
You're on course, Commander. Ground crew are on standby.
Yeah, so
You are clear for automated approach, Commander.
So the graphics and so forth were just insane. The music, who would have thought, you know, like back in the early 80s, bleeps and bloops turned into high bitrate audio streams and so forth, or actual audio quality that can't be beat, you know, and we just think of it as being there. We don't actually think about where we came from, how we got here, and let's face it, it looked fairly crap. At least as far as graphics and sound went, it looked and sounded pretty crap. But for the day, hey, we were impressed. Okay, so oh. Okay, so Master Chefs are not here. Denied. Oh no. It's time for a long haul in Super Cruise. So, current count is, oops, let's see, 78 items collected, 5 chilling in Raxler, and can't be found and can't be disturbed, and 59 left to go. And now that we're still in the middle of the Greybeard's waxing eloquent about how things used to be in the good old days. Just thinking back to how things have actually progressed for Elite Dangerous since it was first released. I was not an early backer, early adopter or anything like that, so not a founding member, just basically because at the time, hey, didn't have the PC to run it and didn't have the money to buy it because, you know, I had, oh gods, three kids in school. You know, the eternal drain of school activities and school materials and so forth, and keeping everything together then. But I did buy Elite Dangerous and was able to also able to buy the Horizons expansion as well, which obviously they gave us SRVs. And because I bought them together before a certain time limit, I'm also the proud owner of a Cobra Mark IV. And if anybody else wants that ship, please, Frontier, release it to the general community. Why should I and people like me be the only ones to enjoy everything? I use the word enjoy lightly, ill-advisedly, that the Cobra 4 has to offer, because it is, it really is a very meh ship.
Frameshift drive charging.
I've tried it. I tried to like it, I really did, but it just rubbed me up the wrong way.
4, 3, 2, 1, engage. Fuel splitting. frameshift drive charging.
And I wish I knew why my gameplay audio was glitching out on me.
4, 3, 2, 1, engage.
Okay. Brandon Stone Portal, whatever it is that they're calling it. Where it is it? It's... It'll just be quicker to find it this way. Okay, time for some heavy-duty hauling and long-distance trucking. Oh, oi, oi, oi. And the next one's going to be even worse. The next one we're going out to the Medb system to pick up Medb Starlube, and that's going to be a 1.6 million light second trip. Bring lunch. And speaking of ships and so forth, my personal taste on ships, and I know that everybody has their tastes and so forth. And some people out there want to rampage off and get themselves the Anaconda. Fly to Hutton Orbital, get your free one there. But I have to say, my two favourite ships in the game are the Cobra Mark V. It is absolutely brilliant as a bubble taxi and as a power play vehicle. You slap enough guns and armour on it to be dangerous in most firefights. And it's got cargo space to do a reasonable amount of hauling, especially if you get some of the pre-engineered ones in there somehow and shoehorn them in. And it's got nice, well, very, very nice speed and manoeuvrability, and I think it is the fastest ship I have in my fleet, and even faster in straight line than my Kestrel. So, and following the theme, my Cobra Mark V, I called that one the Angry Chihuahua because, well, hey, it is. You know, it's a small ship. It's got fangs and so forth, and an attitude problem. But you know, it handles itself rather well, and when things get scrappy, and it's got shields and so forth. So if it starts looking a little unhealthy in there, well, I can just drop all my energy into engines and shields and boost my way out of there until people stop trying to kill me. And as for the complete murder puppy experience, well, that's what my Kestrel Mark II is for, and I've engineered that so that it's a regular little vomit comet. Grade 5 dirty drives with drag drives on top, and with the Mark II manoeuvring thrusters and so forth, it's just insane. And it doesn't hurt at all that I'm running those those Mark II plasma shock cannons, and it's just, I have done it. It is possible for a small ship to completely chew through and rampage like mad and absolutely chew up and spit out an Anaconda. I know, I've done it, and I'm not that great a pilot. But the Kestrel makes makes you pick fights with moons and win. Okay, so just, where are we? There we go. So just going to be doing some minor adjustments to, pardon me, to my system settings here for during the stream, seeing as I've got the time here in front of me. So I am going to just make life a little bit easier. I bought myself a new Stream Deck Plus, and I imported most of my profile across for the streaming software I'm using. Thanks to Meld Studio for that. So what are we looking for? Okay, so what's this? Just excellent, brilliant. Just pop you across to there. That's my desk mite taken care of. Righty-ho, and now next up, we'll just put the same thing across, so just the volume. And the step size is going to be 5. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Pin these. Pin and pin. Okay, that's more fiddling around and taken care of. And I need to put some grippy feet stuff on the bottom of my Stream Deck Plus because it moves around lots more than the base mount for my Stream Deck. So, hang on. Or I could just peel the sticky stuff off the bottom of the foot. Much better. Much better. And in the immortal words of middle-aged blokes everywhere, that's not going nowhere. So where was I? Oh yes, yeah. So yeah, the personal ship preferences, and if we're talking about small ships and so forth, we can't go past the Diamondback Explorer because that can be, well, obviously it's an absolutely brilliant exploration ship, and I spent a lot of time out there in my own little DBX, the Starsea Nomad, and took that various places and so forth. But yeah, unengineered, you can turn it into a fairly viable anti-Xeno ship. You know, if you don't have a lot of engineering materials or engineering access and so forth. You can, you know, obviously it's not going to be taking out Hydras or anything like that, well, not without an epic ton of help, but, you know, you can use them to take out the scouts and so forth very, very effectively. So with that, there are various builds over there that are based around a Diamondback Explorer and just some regular regular unengineered stuff, and it's like I said, it handles itself very, very well. It's maneuverable, it's fairly cool running, which is always handy, and it can be a bit of a tough little nugget to crack. And coming into the last little bit, and they're saying it's 2.5 minutes. It lies. Elite, you lie. So I'm getting a bit numb in the rump here, so what I might do here is once I've set off for the next lot of Super Cruise, which is Vela Dock in the Med system, I'll take a quick little 5 to 10 minute break there, and we'll see what happens after that. So yeah, there is a whole bunch of stuff which is happening in the background, and unfortunately a lot of it involves flying off in Super Cruise and being so very, very slow about it. Ooh. Okay, that would break the game, I reckon. I just thought of something else that's pointless and stupid and time-consuming and so much of a grind it's not funny. And that is doing so many Hutton runs, you know, back and forth to pick up Centauri Mega Gin and Hutton mugs, and picking up quantities of both sufficient to fill up a Panther Clipper completely kitted out, dragged out, and loaded up for high capacity hauling. So 1,320 tons, which is 600, 650, 660 tons of each. Let's see whose brain would snap first. And I reckon mine would do that first. Yeah, just going to fiddle around with the transition here, so... And back again. Okay, so they work. Yay. Okay, don't get distracted by this. You know, you've come this far, no loop of shame time, okay? Yeah, 30 seconds, 29. You lie. There we go. No leap of shame. Yay, winning at life. Ooh, it's 2 gas giants. Okay, time to scuttle in. Oh no.
Docking request granted.
I made it through that without too much of a hassle.
Docking successful. Engines disengaged.
Okay, so that's that one taken care of. That's Bakukos, high tea. That's a big yes on that. And yes, I think I have been here. Yes, I have. Not in this game. Well, not with this commander, but definitely have been in. There it is.
Ship released. Engines engaged. Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage. Frameshift drive charging.
Right, there we go. And I was talking earlier about harebrained schemes and so forth, and that's pretty much how I keep myself from burning out, because some people think obviously there is a way to win this game, which is obviously quite silly and disingenuous, there is no real winning to this game other than the winning conditions you impose yourself or decide yourself.
Frameshift drive charging.
So I've just been spending all my time in Elite Dangerous just rampaging around doing what seems to be a good idea at the time. So picking up rare items in alphabetical order, yeah, good idea, let's do it. And I never lock myself into doing the one thing time and time again. So if I'm, for example, if I'm in the middle of doing something like this and a community goal will pop up, well, I'll drop everything. If I feel like it, I'll drop everything and then just go straight on to the community goal. Do some of that for a while until it starts getting a bit mean and repetitive, and then I'll go off and do something else, or I'll go back to what I was doing before. So I'm not tying myself to any one particular game loop or for want of a better word, grind than anything else.
Frameshift drive charging.
And just by regular, just mucking about and stuff like that, I've completely avoided burnout. So this game is still way too much fun for me than should be considered entirely legal. And yeah, so I don't need the anaconda to say, hey, I've won the game. I've basically won the game already just by having a bucket load of fun. Okay, so as you can see, we're just in regular Super Cruise. We've got 1.7, call it 1.7 million light seconds to go. So this, I reckon, will be an absolutely brilliant time to have a quick break. And we're back. And we still have quite a distance to go. Oh, lovely. I just saw that in my future I've got Katzenstein dock. All 4.2 million light seconds of it. Yay. Okay, so I'm interested in knowing what's the dumbest thing you've decided to do in Elite Dangerous, and did you actually decide to stick with it? Hit me up with a comment. Let me know what piece of insanity or inanity got your attention for as long as it was there. And yeah, we'll sit back, we'll have a good laugh about it. Right then, okay, so... everything is nice and level on the equator, on the orbital plane. And at a bit of a loss to what I can talk about to help fill up the empty spaces here while we're waiting for a ship to finish the journey to Veladoc. Suppose we can go and talk about the weekend and say, well, not a lot happened there, but oh yes, the last of the 11 puppies that we had from Nova's first litter, they went to their forever home, so for a while there it was looking like we were going to have to look after so many extra puppies that we weren't really counting on, but no, in the last week or so, demand really picked up, and thankfully we're able to get the last half dozen or so puppies off to their new homes. So always welcome when that happens. It's actually something of a joyful thing to see kids getting their first puppy or a new puppy, as the case may be. And we were very lucky in that we had pretty much a litter of puppies that was so very well balanced and well-rounded and so forth. So there were no puppies that were overtly, for want of a better word, nuts. Which, considering that their mother was like that from a very early age and still is actually something of an interesting sensation. Having puppies that are not bundles of manic energy. I mean, yeah, they're rambunctious and puppy-like and so forth, and bouncing around. But they're not nowhere near as crazy and impulsive as their mother. So yeah, living the dream there. And as I said earlier, the other thing that I got was a brand new Stream Deck Plus, and now just waiting for the little plug-in thingy around the back, the audio hub there, to help make things that much more awesome. And then I will start mucking about with the Wavelink audio application and trying to make things sound better and stuff like that there. So yeah, it's been a good week. Don't mind me, just mucking about a little bit with my Stream Deck and getting some extra bibs and bobs on board. Okay, so what's the weather like out there? It's 14 degrees outside and sunny. Feels warmer than that. Probably because I'm in the warmest part of the house. Well, second warmest part of the house. So, here we are. Still got a bit of dead air and so forth. I've run out of things to say, I'm sorry to say. Thinking back to 84, thinking back, yep, didn't realise just, how good we had it, in some ways. Like, I was very, very fortunate our local public library had, it had the Apple II there, so we could muck about in half-hour blocks, and we could, muck about and so forth and play those games and do the other stuff and the awesome stuff and so forth. And it also had a couple of dumb terminals that were hooked up via modem to Collingwood College of TAFE. And so, the dumb terminals were exactly that, basically a keyboard and a monitor, or a keyboard and a printer, and just hooked up to that. And all of the actual intensive computing part and so forth was done at the other ends, and that was a prime mini computer. All I can tell you was, when it was. I think it was based on BSD, maybe? No, hang on, it can't be that. I can't remember what it was based on. But it was all command prompt generated and so forth. So no Windows icon, mouse and pointer or anything like that. It was all learn the commands, learn how to use the commands, use the pipe, learn how to pipe things. Or if you were people like my brother and my friend Rick, learn how to exploit system bugs and bugs in the system and so forth, and gain complete control over everything that was there. I remember my brother once reprogrammed the print spool handler so that no matter what job was sent through to the printer, it always, to the high-speed, high-capacity line printer. So whatever job was sent to the printer for printing out and so forth, could be a text assignment, could be anything at all, output from a programming assignment. Didn't matter what it was replaced with an ASCII picture of Spock from Star Trek. And he just left that in place for about an hour or so, just enough to get people panicking and so forth, and worried that things were going definitely pear-shaped and so forth. Well, things were going pear-shaped. My brother was being a dick. But it was one of those things where, he was, for want of a better word, my brother was up to almost harmless shenanigans. He didn't do this during exam period or anything like that, so thankfully that wasn't an issue. But yeah, he was a bit of a dick. Not gonna lie. And because my friend Rick and my brother and so forth and a few others were somewhat partners in crime, and I was the designated collateral damage. So they'd all get these, bans from being able to use the system for a little while, so a week, a month or something like that, and so forth. And I'd get caught up with the collective punishment and so forth because I was with them. And I went, what? But come on. That's not me at all. Didn't matter. Didn't matter. I was part of the group. Unwitting unwitting stooge at times, because I wasn't the most switched on or cluey kid, I will admit. And so, what happened to them invariably happened to me as well, just guilt by association. Oh, pardon me. And got distracted again, so it's time for another loop of shame. Okay, there we go. And here we go. Veladoc. We got there eventually.
Lincoln Whiskey Yankee Lima. This is Flight Control. Please note that access to the station is by authorization only. Landing permitted. Adjust heading for approach to pad 20. You are clear for automated approach, Commander.
Oh, this is going to be an ugly landing.
Caution. Maintain safe separation.
Thank goodness for bump shields.
Landing gear deployed.
Landing successful. Clear to disembark.
What's this? Universal language. So current count is 80 rare items, 80 rare commodities collected, 5 missing in action, 57 left to go. And now we're off to the packaging system. And it's only 2 jumps away, which is nice.
Landing coupler disengaged. You are clear to leave.
Frameshift drive charging.
Speed restrictions are now lifted.
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage. Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage.
These audio dropouts are really beginning to annoy the ass off me. Trying to work out whether or not I'm allowed to swear online. I'll have to have a look at terms and conditions for both Twitch and YouTube.
Fuel scooping complete.
Pretty sure that because my content is set as not being made exclusively or specifically for kids on YouTube, that I'm allowed to swear there and won't get me in trouble.
Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage.
But we will see. And if anybody's got any ideas on how I can zhuzh things up a bit for my Twitch and for my YouTube and so forth, then please do send me a DM or two. They're always very much welcome. I'd like to find out what other people think would be good to make my
Fuel scooping complete.
my digs, my digital home that much more inviting and attractive and welcoming. So please give me your suggestions. Okay, so I'm not too sure we'll be able to go all the way out to Pins and Dock, because I will have to end the stream somewhat on time today, or certainly can't run over. Let's just say so. Whatever time things happen to be, so at 1 p.m. wherever I am, that's where I'm going to have to bring it to a close. If I'm in the middle of Squirrel Spit Nowhere, and I have to end the game there, then obviously that's what I'm going to have to do. Oh. Okie dokie. I think I've done enough there. Oh, lordy. Still got a ways to go. Okay, here we go. Do.
Lakon Whiskey Yankee Lima. Submit a request before docking and enjoy your visit, Commander.
Scan detected.
Okay, yike.
Scan detected.
Please vacate this area, Commander. Clearance to the station is granted by permission only.
Whoops-a-daisy. Okay, this is... Okay, so first off, let's see. Really nice.
Request denied. Landing permission denied. Permission authorized. Prep for arrival on landing pad 20. Attention, Commander. Please take note of speed restrictions in this sector.
Scan detected.
Clear for precision approach. Use of docking computer has been sanctioned.
Okay, that was interesting.
Contact. Clear to offload. Happy to have you, Commander.
Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay, now that I've finished bouncing off things and trying to break things as much as I can, let's repair the damage. Okay, somebody at Frontier Developments had way too much fun with this. Mokujing Beast Feast, marketed as the galaxy's most dangerous cereal, with a tagline imploring the consumer to eat it before it eats you. Beast Feast claims to contain trace elements of over 223 confirmed man-eater species, allowing consumers to eat their way to the top of the food chain. What a delightfully ridiculous notion. Okay, so yep, I'm going to tag that one as a delightful yes, I've got that. So that's 81 rare commodities acquired, 5 missing in action, and 56 left to go. Let's go on to Momus Reach. Okay, and tag that. 4 jumps away. Auto launch.
Ship released. You are clear to depart.
Righty-ho then. And yeah, had enough stuffing about in this station for the moment. Let's not add any more fines to the damage. Okay, so my contribution is 15,840 there. In the top 25% still. About 60% of the way from Tier 2 to Tier 3. Now, let's see, what is...
Scan detected.
Okay, was that a power play thing? I don't think so. Yep, no worries, it's just local authorities.
All clear. We look forward to your return, Commander.
Ranging prime charger.
Yep.
Fuel scooping. Fuel scooping complete.
Okay, so now we know that I can boost my Type 8 through the mail slot fast enough to avoid being scanned and getting a fine there, but obviously getting a fine for trespassing, so maybe I shouldn't have done that. Oh well, it was fun.
Frameshift drive charging. Fuel scooping. System scan complete. Fuel scooping complete.
Okay, so might bring. Of course, I'm carrying illegal cargo. When am I not carrying illegal cargo in this thing?
Frameshift drive charging.
So I think, yeah, I'll bring things to an early close at the end of this acquisition, just because I don't want to be hanging out in the middle of nowhere about on my way to a 1.7 million light second move and groove. So we're at point. A Momus Bug Spaniel. Bog Spaniel.
Lima. Please check your speed on approach to this facility. Access authorized. Cleared for landing on pad 07. Reports of increased traffic surrounding the facility. Regulate your speed, Commander. Automated docking initiated.
There we go. Yep, so.
Landing gear deployed.
Ship is on the ground. Perform landing checklist. It's good to have you with us, Commander.
Buying that. Okay, we're going to call it a day there. So current repair. Without the verbal word salad. Current rare commodities count, 82 items acquired, 5 missing in action, probably in Raxler, 55 left to go. So I will call this a session, and I'll see you all again on Wednesday, 10 a.m., which is obviously GMT plus 10, so this Wednesday at 12 in the morning. I'll see you all then.